The light is a little bit bright, so I'm not gonna break the fourth wall. I think I did a little bit. I'm gonna break it again. Everybody brace yourself for impact. I'm about to break the fourth wall. In 3, consider it broken. All right, so let's go through the movie plans. I just mowed the lawn. I'm tired. I ate. I had matzah. I had hummus. I had fruit by the foot. And I had flour tortilla with butter. I washed it all down with agua. And then I had also some fruit punch. And I'm just getting started. If you're doing service, I don't like to do things like 15 minutes. I do an hour and a half, like about a movie. A movie's worth of prayer and more. The problem I have now, and thank you for bearing it, is since I don't have a wife, family, or a career, and that's something that I want, that occupies my thoughts like constantly. So when I'm doing service in the Siddur, it's kind of like I do it and I come back out and whatever I absorb is fine, but it still doesn't take away that problem. So we're going to be putting my plans out there. So I don't know. I know that, you have to get it. We don't want to be big. Like we want to be big, but we don't want to have a lot of like 18-wheelers, all these trailers for one shot. It's absolutely ridiculous. Roger Corman, peace on him, he even said it too. He did B movies. To me, they weren't B. Later with the computer stuff, they looked kind of like B, but his other work was pretty good. And for some reason, it just kind of went like, okay, kind of like, it gets that own feel, like Sharknado, something like that. Anyway, so we're doing a movie, and I was in Bala Cynwyd, which is in Philadelphia, City Line Avenue. There's a nice Orthodox Jewish community there, and I would go to the library, and I didn't have TV at my place, so I wanted to watch I'm not ashamed to admit it, Jersey Shore. It was the second season. And I just wanted to see how they were doing. If, they were obviously emotionally unbalanced and pretty much, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just kidding. But I was in the library and Jewish people were fighting in the library too. Jewish woman was fighting with her husband. And then she looked over to me, she's like, is everything good? Can I help you with anything? But she just was giving it to her husband. She wanted that freedom. And her husband was trying to rein her in. Anyway, and there was a Jewish guy, and he's like, my thoughts are not my own. That was before I read the Tanakh. That was before I circumcised myself, before I even came across the name Hashem and all of that. Most Jews would be humbled to find out that people are learning, and sometimes they just want to say shalom. It's like their very first Jewish word, shalom. Anyway, back to our movie. So we're keeping it small. We're gonna travel. We'll find places. We'll do for the outside shots and whatever we need. But I don't want to. It's not like we don't have to shut the city down. It's not like unless we throw a party, then we will. But then I would have to get in touch with like law enforcement, the mayor, and be like, we're coming to this town and there's gonna be food and all that kind of stuff. So we're just now planning. But now for the movie, I was thinking, well, I want to see how the Golems want to do it. So they're from Olam Haba. All right, so we just create a bridge. We say some, Hebrew text, something mystical, and then boom, they're here. I don't know if they want to stay or if we're going to put them up in like a hotel or something. We'll see how we'll do it. Or the other thing I was thinking of is when we start filming and like it's my gang and I'm kind of like the ringleader and this is like a circus, we're going to display our products. We're not going to harm anybody. like they might get scared or something. You know how there was like two dolphins in the sea, and the dolphins were using the baby shark as a beach ball? We might do that with, let's say, like, I don't know, Homeland Security, people who really deserve it. They'll get scared out of their wits. We'll scare them straight. If I do that though, then we have to go on the lamb, not the lamb like the song that doesn't end. That one. What was her name? She had that puppet. So we're not that kind of lamb. Lamb, not Lamb. So we go on the lamb, and I would have to be on the run for like a year. And I think in the public eye, what's another thing we want to do is we want to, like, temporarily substitute our images on the television and stuff. So basically take control. So that's how the world would see, our gang in action. And then so we're out there. And then the other thing but we're not harming anybody, but like we're going to be destroying state property. That sounds bad, but we'll restore it. We just want to take a few cruisers and just show them how they turn to dust and how they get rebuilt and how the strength of these golems, my bodyguards, Auschwitz and Birkenau. So we want to have them out in the streets. Obviously, people are going to be talking and stuff, and that's fine. So we'd have to be on the lam for probably a year, but we're not going to, I don't know how many charges we would rack up. We're not stealing anything. We're just destroying some property, scaring some people. I mean, terrorizing, that sounds really bad. Well, we're filming, so we want to get authentic reactions. We don't want to be like, here's a script, read it, internalize it, and give us your best, whatever. So for example, let's say our camera systems that we have, that I'm designing. So they need to be powered and they have to follow us. I don't want Hollywood. I don't want any dollies. I don't want these big, I don't want that. We're doing something totally different. We're doing assignments, Hebrew assignments with the lettering. So we'll do that. And if we're good, we should be able to break through using magic squares. There is a calculation involved, and we can go through whatever. Also, I want to take this house and transform it into see, that's the thing. If we do headquarters and I outfit it, like soup up a car, it's just like I'll get the sports package, something like that to the house. So we'll see. I'll have to do all that. But we want to, release the movie. We want to do for the kids like a PG-13, like bar and bat mitzvah age, so you can come in. So it'll be a double feature. First, it's like the everything is okay, and then the rated R, they'll be full frontal. I want to do full frontal nudity. For all the women that got me through, they showed a lot. Sharon Stone, that wasn't a big deal, by the way. They showed a lot better stuff. The Italians did it better. Anyway, it was just like whatever. So we are also having products. So they'll be able to go to our website and place orders. And how we're not making a factory, but we'll have some automation. So we'll be employing some people. But it won't be like, monotonous factory work. It's an interactive thing. And basically we can make products like that. Kind of like the X-Men's, what is it called? The Danger Room or whatever. How they were playing in that stuff, something like that. So we'll be making products. And then I want to go to Israel. I still have to build a house and raise a family. It's a good thing that there's a lot of people in my life that have influenced me indirectly. Like the recent one was the 60-year young, with the 28-year-old. And so she was the White House press secretary. So they have a family, so she's doing that. So he's only 60. And I know that Hashem is going to be making people live longer now, like 120. And that's what one guy in Israel is working on. Actually, he's a jujitsu guy. He's a family guy. Uh, I don't hold the fact that he's black against him. But so yeah, so we're going to be doing a Sabbath guard uh, program for the international community, and I'm hoping to fulfill um, that Israel will have that they will lend but they won't borrow. That's what I'm working on. And one of the rabbis that I came across, Neil Glickman, he's not Orthodox, but he was talking about a Jewish problem. And the Jewish problem was at the resurrection, where's everybody going to live and stuff? So that's where I come into play. So I've been working on this problem for a while. Obviously, I have Hashem in my life. And we'll use mincha, and then basically I'm just going to blow the shofar, and then Hashem will do the rest. And then it'll be a miracle. You'll see a floating island in Israel somewhere. I don't know. I have to look where I want to live. But it's like basically a Sabbath guard. It's to be a hub. And then if Palestine wants to have their own island too, where do they want to go? Let's put them away from Israel so they don't. How about like Hawaii? Wouldn't they want just a big island in the sky where Hawaii is? I don't know. We can figure that out later, but things have to change. This is not, I shouldn't have to wake up every morning and clean Israel's mess that they make. Don't forget that I first serve Hashem, and politics is very cute, but no thank you. So we'll do that. And so you don't have to have the two-state solution. Because if you have two-state solution, there's going to be some assimilation, some working together, and I don't see them doing that. This conflict has been going on so long that it's kind of like I don't see them. It'll be new administration, and other people will be doing whatever. Boom, they get their own island. We'll put like these vines or this big ladder. Climb up, get your property, however you want to do it, and then just work amongst yourselves. I still believe that our Arabs are good. We'll talk about Daniel Pearl and why I'm upset with of blessed memory, but why I'm upset with Israel and the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. What's coming out of there is basically secular intellect, Israeli secular intellect, which is good, don't get me wrong. But the problem is they're taking a shit on our Kabbalah. So every Shabbos, and I'm like doing the, Yedid Dodi, and I'm doing all these Kabbalah stuff, and then I got this guy telling me it's all foolishness. So basically I'm gonna bring your institution to shame. Pretty much it's going to be desolate. Most people won't want to go to have a secular education anyway. If you know what you want to do, fine. Another thing what we're going to be doing is, as far as job security and the hot jobs out there, nursing, working in a hospital, fine. But these hospitals are becoming so big, like these mega churches, their beds won't be occupied. So basically there's a direct correlation between doing Shabbat and illness and sickness. A lot of the Jews that you see in the obituaries, let's say on COL Live, is because they're basically suffering over everybody else. So like you have your own atmosphere, but the secular winds come. So they're facing that too. Hopefully Hashem will grant us a long life. I say that every Shabbat too. So that's that. And I'm not, Adolf Hitler was able to accomplish what he accomplished in 10 years. So I'm thinking within the next 2 years. I mean, for Hashem to make the miracle, the floating island in the sky, all I have to do is wait for him to give me the cue. I blow the shofar, people gather around, and all of a sudden, yay, look at this, it's a floating island. We'll invite scientists to do research. I'm not going to be involved with all of that. I have service to maintain, and So we'll start there, and then for the Palestinians, we'll just do that. So just be like a shofar thing. That's all I'm gonna do. If they want the text, we'll see. I'll see how to do that. It's an unfolding. It's an unfolding of text. That's what it is. So that's that. So we took care of that. So, and then we'll start talking about resurrection and, people being resurrected. We should put this into the public consciousness, I would think, because most people are either removed from tradition, don't know anything about tradition, either playing video games their whole lives or, all that kind of stuff. So obviously, I'm going to be a big player. And if not, oh well. I ate for today. I'm going to cuddle with and hold myself. Maybe I'll shed a tear. I hope it won't be in self-pity. I don't pity myself anymore. I used to. It felt good. But it wasn't like nobody loves me. It was just a little bit. And then I found a lady during the Holocaust. She never allowed herself to get into self-pity. So I feel guilty for having those feelings of self-pity. Anyway, so I said a mouthful. I just wanted to get this out there. That light is bright though. Speaking of lights, so there is a light that reflects. We'll be using that. It's like the impregnable light. It's the light that nobody can attain. We'll be working off of it, bouncing it. You could see it too. When you see it's that light that reflects. So we'll be working with that. It's also the light. It's also there's light that is saved for the righteous, not the self-righteous, but the righteous. Most people are somewhere in between. Not truly self-righteous and not truly righteous and not truly self-righteous. You want to be truly righteous. Self-righteous is just like, without Hashem or without knowledge of Israel's living God. So we got that covered. We did a lot. I am tired though. I'll sleep. I sleep on my side. And what else did I want to say? That's it. I think it'll be a good year. And then we'll have, for the Sabbath Guard program, if you don't know any Hebrew, that's fine. Just the minimum expectation for a Sabbath Guard would be, if you sign with us, doing Shabbat, just sit and do nothing. I mean, you can walk around the house and do whatever, but you won't be able to, flick light switches, won't be able to drive. And so it's basically to get you prepared. So you could be like the Golem of Prague, and he would sit in the attic and just, sit and do nothing. And you could actually work on that state of mind, that nothingness state of mind. And we'll give you the instructions. It's pretty much looking behind you all the time and creating that state. So and then you could have like a Siddur, you could keep it with you, peruse through it, and then you can really get into it too. So we have these like entry levels and stuff, and then you get your suit and stuff, your Sabbath Guard. I think the commitment should be, and I haven't worked out numbers yet, I would say a minimum of 5 years, 3 to 5. Well, yeah, you got 3 to 5. So 3, not a year, not 2 years, 3 years, between 3 and 5 years. So we want to see before they get a suit, and they get fitted for a suit too. So it's their suit. They would be on call, and we'll see. I mean, if it happens where one Sabbath Guard gets all little too much, we have a tower and boop, there goes your suit. So it's something like that. Whether you're mid-flight or whether you're out on the moon, obviously if basically don't be a menace to society is kind of like don't take this power that these powered suits have and, whatever. We'll put on some stuff like what are they, Blue Angels? They they fly and they do a demonstration, something like that, and we'll all do that. So we'll be a good addition to the world. Because the question you have to ask yourself, is what are you looking forward to? I look forward to Shabbat and what it brings, mentally, physically. So I have that weekly cycle. What you get from that is the eternal quality. You might not get the Jewish quality, but that's maybe not a bad thing either. So anyway, so that's that, and there's plenty of food that we're working on. So because I want to have fast food. I grew up with fast food. I haven't had fast food since, I don't know, a decade and a half. So I want to be able to have these kosher stuffs. I want to eat a Big Mac. I want the dollar menu. I want White Castle. I want to have like a thing of things. So we'll look into that. And as far as Africa, my plan for Africa, if the Africans like this, is all of Africa should be like a safari, a preservation, and the people would live just elevated. So that everything would be for the animals, elephants, tigers. They maintain the wildlife. Everybody visits Africa. I have to look and see what kind of, is Sudan like stable? Because the impression I got is that there's these they go from the tribe, they get a machete, they get a thing, and they start shooting shit. So I know they're good people, but it's whatever. So that's my proposal for Israel. I mean, my proposal for Africa once we start getting things going. So it'll be like the whole continent will be a wildlife preserve. And then we could even go like down the rivers like Congo and stuff. I always wanted to do that. I just don't want to get shot at or anything. Speaking of getting shot at, we have amulets. I'm gonna test them out. I'm gonna be partnering up with some law enforcement agency. I want them to shoot at me, and I want to test these amulets. So we'll do that. It's a Kabbalah thing, and it's also, we'll be using the Hebrew backdrop, the Hebrew background for that. So it'll be fine. So they can fire, the 9 milli. The thing is, what we're trying to do is we're trying to reduce the number of deaths that law enforcement does. Its number is way too high. It's unacceptable. Now that I am, middle-aged, I can actually be a leader, speak out against them, and not give a fuck. What kind of retaliation are they going to have? Emotional? Well, I don't like him. Fuck him. Something like that. I don't care. When it comes to a life and these families, so they should be shamed. And even law enforcement should be like, yeah, this is a good idea. So if they start shooting, and if you have one of the amulets, but if they start unloading, then they'll be taken out. I'll take them out myself. You'll see what I'm going to do. Oh, speaking of time travel, I wanted to look at. It sounds far-fetched, but so does Star Trek and all that. It's a lot of fantasy, but at the same time, how many things were fantastic back then and became something? So we got that, and I guess that's a mouthful. Thank you for bearing with me. We'll see if all this comes to the light of day. And Golem Productions would be entertainment and also toys. We also want to do, I have an idea. So we want to take, how you have like a start screen in like Nintendo, PlayStation. They always have a start screen, but we want to have that with the Golem playset. So let's say you're in the street and you want to do like Surf City or something. I don't have a name for it yet, but basically it's gonna, how you have a surf? So you can surf on the street. We have bumpers that absorb the impact. And then you just have water. And so you can surf, you could have sharks coming out, they're not gonna hurt you. And then they'll have each rainbow, like a lane for rainbow. So you could have like the rainbow water and stuff. It'll be cool. And basically once it's done, it goes to dust and just literally, it's not going to be like a dust pile or something like that, but it goes to dust and pff. So we got that. And so we talked about, in one of my other videos, we talked about a rain cloud. Purchase a rain cloud. So you could do that. We're not going to be mastering, at least I'm not. I don't have any plans to master, like, the cloud delivery system. We'll leave that to Hashem. But the individual rain cloud, I think it's a good idea to water your lawn a different way, to irrigate and stuff. Well, that, when you see it flicker like that, that's when it touches the inside, and that was a divine hit. Anyway, you could learn a lot from a dummy. You could look at the you could look at the golems like dummies, like the crash test dummy, kind of like that. That kind of play, and for children too, if you want to, we got you a golem to play with, you could have something like that. I also want to work on a geyser. So you're basically sitting in like water and just, enjoying yourself on your private geyser. So we have that. And yeah, so we'll have that. That's the golem play sets. We talked about the Sabbath Guard, the movie with the golems and my gang. I just want to see what they want to do. Do we want to put them in like a motel? Or do I want to put them in a penthouse suite? They're going to attract attention, by the way. So it's just because people are going to be looking at it. They've never seen golems before. And these golems, yes, they have a nefesh, and we'll leave it there. They have more than that. They're coming in from Olam Haba. So they have the different levels. It's just kind of like, how you have sex and you're climaxing, and it's, and then it's the same thing like with nefesh. We are working on medicinal cocaine, medicinal performance, and we also want to spark the sex drive. So it's a little bit lustful, which is fine. You look at your partner, you just look at them in a new way, and then you extend the performance. So I want to do that. Monster schlongs, I like the idea. And what the Hebrew word that we attach, the appendage to the appendage, we have that. I found the word for that. I forget it offhand. So that's that. And then we could also work on like limbs and stuff. I mean, if you're going to make golems, you have to look at what else you're going to do. All right, so that's with the golems. Are we going to go on the lamb, or are we going to get other people be like, oh, we're filming on this day? I think we're going to attract attention because of our accessories, our props that we bring out, that we display. So people will see it. I think overnight, people are going to know who we are and stuff, which is fine. I don't mind. Nobody gets hurt. Something like that. That's a big thing. We're not here to put people's lives in jeopardy or all that kind of stuff. We're just telling a cool story, and we're going to cause a lot of Jewish hysteria for beginners, like Beatlemania, Golemania, that kind of. I don't know. I've never heard a crowd cheer like that. So we got that, and for the elderly and stuff. Oh, I can't get off this couch. Help me. And if you don't have Life Alert, and I don't know if Life Alert even covers, I'll help you get back up. So we want to have these handlebars that you could lift yourself up. So we got that. Oh, there's a handlebar, so it has weight to it. So you have the weight, and it dispenses a sound and a frequency along the Hebrew background. So it's like, and it's secure. And you pull yourself up. You could even have some place like that. So it does scrape against it. You'll hear it, and you do that. So there's that. The hoverboard. These are all products that we have to list. And then we have to organize when we're filming. I found the place I want to shoot outside. It's really nice. It's, it's basically like you won't see like a city or a town like that. It's kind of like nestled in. So you get a lot of the nature and stuff. So it could be anything. And then we'll just put music on top of it. We'll have to have maybe David Guetta. I don't know. I wasn't a big raver. I didn't want to transcend when everybody was self-transcending in like those like pits. I transcended privately. So now, I get more comfortable with the camera and stuff. So that's it. That's Golem Productions' plan. We're looking for somebody to advertise with. If not, Hashem will basically allow me to, oh, there you go. He'll allow me to, we're going to do a little Jewish alchemy. We're going to test it out and see how good I am. And that's what we'll do. So I'll be able to pay for things that way. So having something like that. And then we would just have, not like I don't know, we could get a big bus, like a Torah bus. And, when we're in town, you could study Torah on the bus. Or we could just have like those small business, kind of like an A-team thing, but like for like, we have all our equipment in there. So when we're shooting a movie or something, or keeping track of our orbs, our camera orbs that, take the shots, basically. So we'll do that. The other thing is we have the platform for DJs. It's a floating platform, and a different way of, instead of having big speakers and all this stuff, we're going to have speakers, but they're just going to be basically, what's the word? How do I want to say it? Not fabricated. I have to come up with something. Basically, we're just, creating speakers and the sound goes there off of an image. Everything is through an image. And if we need to create an image, we create an image and we just push it through. That's how we bring it into reality. So you have an image, you have points, boom, boom, boom. You got Aleph to Tav. So, and it just makes that image and it leaves whatever it needs. That's how we're doing it. That's how we're doing it with the like the tidal wave or whatever, the surf's up. We got that, and that's how we're doing it. So it goes out there, boom, and so we're working with the Sephiroth system. What the Hebrew University at Jerusalem, that one doctor, Israel something, Netanel said was foolishness, the worst thing to happen to Israel or Judaism or something like that. And this to give you guys, to put it in a little perspective, this Israeli guy, I'm sure he's smart, he's a good quality intellect. No one's saying that, but does he do Shabbat? Does he put on tzitzit when he wakes up? Does he thank his master? Things like that. So if Hashem is too cool for you, if oh, Hashem, I don't want him in my life, that's fine. But then Hashem and I will do what we need to do to get things done. Because Hashem also has a plan, regardless of if you know or care. So there's that. I'm Master Rabbi Shy-boy the Godly, and that's it. That's Golem Productions. That's what we're doing. Arrivederci. I didn't hear it click. Oh, 30 minutes only. That's not bad. It didn't click. Oh, that's why. Because first you have to press the blue button where it goes, and then you go.